My body is suspended in cold water. A chain has me in its grip, dragging me down. And with my last breaths, I fight against it. The pull of fate draws me deeper, and the sound of my heartbeat blends with the faint whisper of the chains. Sometimes life is like those chains, ruthless, unyielding. When your breath starts to fade, that is the moment you must decide. Either sink, or, despite all your wounds, find a way to rise. I spent my childhood in South Africa. My mother built roads that carried people to their destinations. Yet she herself seemed lost along the path of her own life. My father was a mechanic with a quick, fiery temper. My hands were still small, but the responsibilities I carried were far bigger than my age. I was just a little girl on the farm. I fed the animals, chased the chickens, gathered eggs with tiny, careful hands. By the end of the day, my arms ached, my back was sore. Yet I would run, barefoot and breathless, to ballet class. Ballet. It was the only place where I could feel weightless, even for a few fleeting minutes. Where, for a moment, the chains at my ankles seemed to vanish. I was 13 when my mother sent me away to boarding school. And every single day, my classmates found a new way to mock me. Crowds, laughter, and yet for me, there was only silence. Nights were spent crying under my blanket, counting the days until I could go home. Every step of the way, I longed to see my parents. But every time I returned, they were caught up in another fight. I thought home meant safety, an embrace, peace, but they were so wrapped up in each other that they didn't see me. In that house, I might as well have been invisible. And then that hellish day came, the day our home would change forever. I was sitting beside my mother, happy. I was telling her about my ballet classes, about my dreams. And then my father appeared, holding a bottle of alcohol. He walked in, drinking as he moved. My mother snapped at him, demanding he not drink in front of her, telling him to leave the house. But my father, drunk as ever, spoke cruel, incoherent words. In that moment, my heart twisted in fear. My mother, furious, snatched the bottle from him. He lunged at her, and the glass shattered on the floor. And in that instant, hell began. Their screams, their ragged breaths, and the sound of something breaking inside me. He attacked my mother, but she fought back with fierce courage. He threatened her, then moved toward the gun hanging on the wall. Everything slowed. I could hear my heartbeat pounding in my ears. He pointed the gun at me. I was terrified. I begged him silently. I wished I could turn back time. He had become merciless, like a monster, pulling the trigger. My mother lunged at him. The gun fell to the floor. I huddled in a corner, frozen with fear, watching him hold my mother tightly. She screamed at me, "Run!" But I was too scared to move. He ran mercilessly toward the gun. Every second, I feared I was going to lose my mother. I closed my eyes, not wanting to see bullets pierce the heart of the person I loved most. I lifted my hands from my eyes. I saw my mother, brave, relentless, shooting at my father. A few hours later, the police came. They arrested my mother for my father's murder. No matter how much she pleaded, no one listened. She asked the officers to let her hold me for a moment. She kissed me and said, "Be calm, my girl. Forgive me, I had no choice." Then the police took her away. That night, I had neither father nor mother. No one saw my tears or my loneliness. That day, I realized life had left me completely alone. I fell asleep on the cold floor, carrying the pain with me. Years passed in solitude, until one day I opened my eyes and saw a miracle. My mother was standing in front of me, broken, exhausted, her eyes wet with tears. She was released, and her innocence had finally been proven. It felt as if, after a lifetime of exile, a faint, trembling light had returned to the farm. My mother was back, and with her, that gentle light filled our home again. Her smile was like warmth after a storm. I felt my heart breathe again. For the first time in days, moments felt light and welcoming. Hope had returned to our lives. Hope was back. But something had changed. My mother struggled to breathe and could no longer work as she once did. She grew tired quickly and worried about managing the household without the strength she used to have. At her suggestion, I joined modeling classes and left school behind. I competed with others and learned to draw every eye toward me. All those long, hard, tear-filled days finally found their meaning. I stood as the winner of the local modeling competition. Modeling wasn't what made me happy. I wanted to chase my childhood dream. I packed my bags and went to New York. For dance. For ballet. For the love that had lived in my bones since I was a child. I danced with everything I had. My feet bled, but I smiled. For the first time, I truly felt alive. Until that bitter day, one leap, one wrong landing, I still hear the snap of my knee. Pain shot through me like lightning, burning all my dreams. The doctor told me I couldn't continue. My world collapsed in a single sentence. That winter, I lived in a cold New York apartment. No window panes. The wind cut through my face. The cold sank deep into my bones. I had no money, no hope, only silence and darkness. The only person who heard me was my mother. I picked up the phone, my voice trembling. "Mom, I'm tired." Silence. Then she said firmly, "Decide who you want to be, or go back to Africa. You can whine here too if you want." And she hung up. Her voice was like a slap. But that slap woke me up. I went to Los Angeles. With the $300 my mother sent, I got a hotel room. I had no money for food. Sometimes I'd sneak pieces of bread from restaurant baskets. My pride was crushed, but hunger was louder. 8 years passed. 8 years of humiliation, failed auditions, closed doors. One day, I went to the bank to cash a check my mother sent. I was nervous and argued with the teller. My voice shook, my hands trembled. I didn't know that fate was watching. A man approached me and handed me a business card. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a joke. But he signed me up for acting classes, introduced me, and pushed me toward a stage I didn't yet know would be my home. I acted in my first film. Then came an opportunity for a small role in a movie directed by Tom Hanks. I thought, if he believes I'm worthy, maybe I really am. I remember one audition. I was suffocating, out of breath, certain I had failed. He said, "I'll be outside for 5 minutes." I knew he was giving me a chance to find myself. Those 5 minutes changed my fate. I came back. I performed. This time, not with fear, but with faith. Years passed. I acted in more films, earning the highest pay among female actors. I played roles that made people laugh, cry, and live alongside me. Then, one night, my name was called at the Oscars. Not just once, but several times. When I held the statuette, one image came to mind. That broken windowed apartment in New York. After that, I won a Golden Globe, and later, a star with my name was placed on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But believe me, none of it compared to the first time my mother cried on the phone. She said, "See, you could do it." That night, on stage, I cried. Not for the award, for the father whose warmth I never had, for all the nights I went hungry, for the knee that broke but didn't break me, for the mother who hung up to make sure I didn't fall. I learned that dreams don't die, they just change form. And if today I'm called successful, it's not because of talent. It's because of that cold winter, because of that slap. Because I once decided, either I become something or I never return.